So in January, we visited the United States-Mexico border with the United States State Department, where we met a girl who told us about how she was trafficked into the United States, how she was taken into a field by her pimp and raped by 30 men on a trash bag. That's the day that we established our foundation, the DNA Foundation, which stands for the fundamental right to freedom for every person, because it's within our DNA.
That's a very powerful statement. You could tell the emotion in your voice, but you know, it was hardly surprising given what you were talking about. This has now become a pretty full-on campaign for you guys. Tell me more about what triggered this for you.
We had been talking about the fact that we supported various causes, and all of them, you know, had real value, but that we really hadn't found something that we connected to, that we felt we could really get behind. And we were actually sitting at home one night and we saw this program that was a documentary highlighting the issue of slavery in Cambodia. And the thing that really just was devastating is seeing these 5-, 6-, and 7-year-olds who were being repeatedly raped for profit, and it just seemed impossible to live in a world where that was going on and not really do something about it.
How big a factor was it that you've got 3 young girls yourself, and you could look at them and perhaps see them transplanted into this hideous world?
Well, the average age of entry into the sex trade is 13 years old, and that's globally, by the way. Like, most people sort of see this and they go, okay, that's a problem in Cambodia, or that's a problem in India, and it's happening in the United States. There's between 100,000 and 300,000 child sex slaves in the United States today, and so when we go home, we're sitting around the dinner table with our girls, and we're thinking, you know, 13, 14, you know, 10, 11, 12-year-old girls. If you don't do something to stop that, that's when there's something wrong with you, in my opinion.
The campaign obviously has been gathering a lot of momentum, and you've launched it big time this week with a big series of videos involving lots of famous people. It wasn't the easiest sell, reading some of your comments about this. A lot of people, famous friends of yours, didn't want to get involved. Why was that, do you think?
Well, I think that there's a subsect of what we're looking at, and it sort of dangerously bleeds over into something that people are very accustomed to. You know,
prostitution.
Right. So what we're focusing on is child sex slavery, right? And when the line bleeds into prostitution, people have a little bit of trepidation, because they say to themselves, well, if you're 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, and you decide that this is what you want to do with your life, you should be able to choose that. And neither of us are sitting here saying that that's not, that we don't respect someone's right to choose that. But at the same time, when you look at it and you say, all right, if the average age of entry is 13, what 13-year-old girl is choosing this as their profession? And does a 13-year-old really have that choice? And so maybe they were a pimp.
And even those who have become of age have probably been there since they were a minor, and really have now either been stigmatized or don't feel that they have any other options. And we've come across that a lot with the survivors that we've spoken to.
And it's also I want to play a little clip, actually, before we go on it, which is from the Real Men Don't Buy Girls campaign. Let's just watch this and come back afterwards.
Real men know how to use an iron. Real men know how to use the remote. Real men know how to make a meal. Real men prefer a close shave. Real men don't buy girls.
Piers Morgan is a real man. Are you?
I mean, already my favourite commercial of the year, for obvious reasons. But the
And
point
thank you, by the way, for standing up to be a real man.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Well, no, listen, the pleasure was all mine. Obviously, I think Eva Longoria gave me that endorsement. But the key point of that is that anybody can put themselves into that picture frame.
Exactly.
And the celebrities like Eva who've contributed to this have recorded hundreds of pretty mainstream names, male names. And it's a very smart idea. What I would say to you is, there's a kind of conundrum here, isn't there? On the one hand, you're going to be using social media very aggressively to spread the word about this campaign. On the other hand, you will both know that one of the reasons why some of these predators can now operate in a perhaps easier way than they could before is social media. The grooming process can be done on Facebook when no one's looking. What do you think about that conundrum?
That's why we're using social media for this campaign, is to actually go right into the heart of where it's taking place. 76% of the transactions for child sex slavery is actually happening online. And so if we can motivate people while they're online to do something about that, then we can make a dent. So if people go to facebook.com/the DNA Foundation, they can put themselves in a video, share that video with their friends, and then our hope is that next they'll go to the Action tab. And inside our Action tab, we lay out some specifically defined initiatives that people can do online to flag this. We want the social web to become the police for human trafficking online, and they can do it. You can go to Craigslist and you can flag the page that look like it's child trafficking. You can go to Backpage and you can flag those things, and people can start to actually unroot this at its root.
We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to hear from a victim of sex trafficking, a 17-year-old girl. We're going to call her Nicole, and it's pretty powerful stuff.